Oh, oops. So I didn't notice I set that for Sunday. So if there was anybody that got a notification, I guess they didn't get it for the correct time. Maybe I'll just do another one tomorrow. So welcome to the Uncarved Block. Again, it's been a while. Dog is healing fine. They actually said she's fully healed, but over the course of 6 months or so, she lost a significant amount of muscle mass in that leg. So she just can't go bounding anywhere. She does seem to be doing well on her 30-minute walks, but we don't want to just allow her to jump and do stairs at random and stuff. So I monitor her some more, but at least I'm able to get back in here with my camera and chat with you guys. What I thought I would do once again is talk about trans issues, trans matters, trans rights. As I've stated before, my journey on this began when I was kicked out of the atheist group that mostly represents the atheists in my city. And in their title, they have the word freethinkers. And someone had posted about Jerry Coyne's article being taken down by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. And you can go to his blog and, search for those terms. But essentially it said that being a woman is a biological fact. And when they posted this in the group, they were celebrating, boasting how harassment works, how we bloated these people's email accounts to get them to pull this down when Jerry Coyne is talking within his field. So I said, wait a minute, why are freethinkers boasting about censorship? They didn't like that. And I was immediately called a TERF. Didn't know what that meant. Called a transphobe. Okay, I kind of figured that one out. Called a bigot. Told I was sensitive about my precious binary. And I really just asked a question. I haven't investigated any of these matters before. So they were kicked out. I tried to appeal. There was no appeal. And I've learned that in the online atheist community, this has become an indefeasible argument, not because it is, but because they've made it so. They won't listen. They can't address it logically. And if they attempt to do so, they use deceptive tactics. So I think I've been kicked out of 3 groups so far since December. One, I had made some comments, and I think I even posted a video in it, and I was surprised it didn't get me kicked. And then I actually got kicked for a different reason. So before I go into that, though, the 3rd group I got kicked from, it didn't even involve anything I had done in that group, because I was already aware that one of the admins was very much against this. And in fact, they had already blocked me, which was funny because they were an admin and they blocked me. And I thought, well, that's fine. I guess if they're an admin, I'm not breaking a group rule. And then they unblocked me because I had spoken with another admin. And I thought, okay, I just won't discuss these issues in that group. But I did discuss them in another group, and said admin came to harass me, cussed me out, insulted me, would not discuss it calmly or civilly. And then finally said, "That's it. I was a mod." And he said, "You can kiss that goodbye." And he banned me from the group and blocked me himself personally. Once again, I appealed to the person in charge of that group, and the person in charge of that group would not even respond. They read my messages, but they didn't even respond. And I thought, well, maybe they need some time. So I gave them a week or so, and I said, well, what's going on? Didn't respond. And said admin that banned me, he's not a very likable person. He's not. He is an atheist, and there have been so many theists that have said he is just too abrasive, and they leave the group because of him. Yet the main admin sides with him on this issue, even though the main admin, like the rules of the group, he will show more leniency towards theists because they are the target audience. But yet he has someone that insults people so repeatedly that they leave the group, but he keeps them on as admin. I think they go way back. That's their business. But how well do you ever know anybody really online? Because one is in England and one is in America. How well do they really know each other? So back to the other group, which was actually the most recent. So I guess it's actually the third group. The reason I got kicked out was because someone had posted about the new Harry Potter series. So if you're not aware, HBO is doing a Harry Potter series. Woo! Where is that window? Today it is Sherry Chrome tab. Huh. Can't do what I want. Okay. Let's go into Zoom land. So here we are. There is a new Harry Potter series being developed. And some fans are upset that they have cast a black man as Snape. They've also recently announced a not Caucasian little girl as Hermione. But J.K. Rowling herself has stated that the only description of Hermione in the book is just that she has frizzy hair. There's no statement about her skin color. And I have seen somebody doubt that by saying that once Hermione was described as getting pale, but that can happen to any race. I'm sure that other races can tell when they get pale. But the biggest stink is about Snape, because in the book, he is described, as you can see, as a thin, tall man with sallow skin. A sallow skin is pale or yellow or sometimes a light brown. A hooked nose, which is certainly more of a trait of Caucasians than it is of black persons. And uneven teeth, and long, dark, greasy hair, and the appearance of a bat. Now, all credit to Alan Rickman. Snape is generally seen as being an unattractive man, that he is uncomfortable with his appearance. New Snape actor. So this is Papa Asiadu. Even get an image of him. He is not a bad looking guy. He's not a bad looking guy at all. He doesn't have a hooked nose. He certainly doesn't have sallow skin. I mean, Alan Rickman embodied that character. I think visually, and probably talent-wise, a better fit would be Adam Driver. I mean, he just looks like Snape, but I'm sure, he has his movie career and he wouldn't want to devote 9 years of his life to an adaptation of the books. So this is not an unattractive man. Definitely doesn't fit the physical description. And, but J.K. Rowling has not expressed an obstacle to this. So, it's her books. Do what she wants. So I pointed this out in the group. I gave that description. And I also posted drawings by J.K. Rowling. And here he is. How do I scroll down on this? Okay. Long hooked nose, long greasy hair, and obviously Caucasian, because there are other drawings by J.K. Rowling. I think there's one of Dean Thomas, which she actually shades his skin. But even if he had darkened skin, he would not be a black man. Here's another. Again, and she admits that he looks like Count Dracula. Still, look at that nose. Look at that. Wow. So for me, the most important features will be his hair and his nose, and skin last. So I was thinking, why couldn't they have cast an Indian actor, Hindi, or maybe an Arabic actor? At least we would get the nose and the hair. Regardless, though, I mean, pretty much, as long as he nails the part, I'd rather have someone that doesn't look accurate to the books, but nails the part, and than somebody who looks like what Snape would look like, but not have the talent. The most famous example of that would be Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. Wolverine is 5'4", broad. And that's part of the reason he calls himself Wolverine, is he's a small thing, but he's a threat. And, Hugh Jackman is 6 foot plus, thin. But, I mean, when they first cast him, I said, oh, no, that's not Wolverine. I'm a comic book reader from way back. And, but he nailed the part. So, I would rather see my number one goal would be somebody that looks the part and can pull it off. And then my second would be somebody that can pull it off, even if they don't look the part. So I posted this and was immediately kicked from the group. No warning. I don't think I've ever had any warnings in that group. I tried to appeal to the admin, but the admin had blocked me, so I assumed that the lead admin was the one that did it. But I've always thought that atheists try to describe themselves as rational and reasonable. Able to look at arguments and evaluate them. And when it comes to the trans issue, and maybe this issue, what is that little thing? Oh, it's a sticker. Well, definitely the trans issue. They can't do it. They cannot do it. I have encountered so many arguments that if a theist were presenting something similar, they would discount it. They ignore the science. They accept that a person is trying to define reality for themselves. There's no logical structure to the arguments. They respond with insults, ad homs, ad hom fallacies even, and they cannot defend these arguments. And they not only cannot defend them, they will not allow them to be defended. I've seen atheists intentionally, or maybe not intentionally, misinterpret what a person says to them. Jovan Bradley is a big he's a good example of doing that. I've watched him repeatedly where he will twist someone's words and the person falls for it, and Jovan thinks he wins, but he didn't actually confront the original argument. He twisted it into something he thinks he can defeat. And I have a couple of videos where I demonstrate him doing that and refute the argument that he does address, or that he does present, even though it wasn't the original argument. So I'm just wondering who these atheists are that just think they present themselves as being rational, they present themselves as being free thinkers, but they do not allow any conversation on this. They don't. And if they do, it has to be one-sided. For example, if you call the transatlantic line, they will mute you. They will immediately get hostile if you disagree with them. I've seen Matt Dillahunty yell at people because of this. And here's the thing. Here's what's odd. I'm an atheist, but I still defend any religious person's right to believe whatever woo they want. And even though I don't think it's woo, it can be based on woo, but you can have the right conclusion for the wrong reasons. So you take a fundamentalist Christian, will say God created them male and female. Okay, that's their religious belief. And what these atheists are doing, they are demanding that fundamentalist Christians need to accept this. No argument, no, they need to do it or they're bigots. Well, it's their fundamental right to be bigots, but they aren't necessarily bigots because it's their religious belief. And if you think God has established something, you're not being a bigot. You're not being a bigot at all, because if God is the definer of reality, and that's what you think he's established, you're not being bigoted. You're being consistent. And the atheists who are of the mindset that trans issues cannot be challenged and are indefeasible, they're being just as religious as the fundamentalists. They really are. They won't accept that, but they are. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. Just the unwillingness to rationally discuss this among atheists is astounding to me. That's about it. Recently, I had gone onto a trans person's stream. Well, not recently, I guess it's a month or two ago. And I made a few comments. I was being civil and was put in timeout. And I messaged that person, the streamer, not the mod that kicked me. And I said, I just want you to know because they were actually reading my comments and they were laughing about them. And then they said they saw that I commented something and they said, oh, I guess he left. No, I didn't leave. Kicked me. So they had an email. So I messaged them and said, I was being civil. And if civil conversation is not going to be accepted in your chat, then I will just unsubscribe for you and not participate anymore. And they said, oh, I'll let my mod know. And, please come back. And they proceeded to ask me some questions and email back and forth and wanted to know what caused me to achieve peak trans. And I told them essentially the story that I told you earlier. And they said, can we have an on-screen conversation? And I said, sure. So just remember, they offered. I didn't ask. I didn't demand it. They offered. Sure. And we had a very civil conversation for 2 hours. And I finally said, I need to go do some work before because, I'm retired and my wife comes home and I haven't done anything. I need to do something. So 2 hours, which was more than I expected. I thought it would be about an hour, half hour minimum, maybe. During this conversation, that person talked more than I did. I listened a lot. And anytime I tried to say something, it was immediately challenged. And then that person would continue to talk and talk and talk. And even at the end, they admitted that they tend to ramble. And I said, yeah. And I don't think they were ready for me to say, yeah, but I'm an honest person. And I just kind of laughed about it. But they admitted that they ramble a lot. Okay. I didn't hold it against them. So after they said that we could have a live discussion, that we could have an audience. And I was happy about that because I've been trying to find a calm trans ally or trans person to have a live discussion with. Oh, let me get rid of the cat. Okay. So I was happy about that. And I was so happy that I posted on a couple of platforms about the conversation. And this person is a trans identified man. Some people would call them a trans woman. I generally don't, because I think it obscures perception of people. I think you buy into a narrative when you call them a woman. So this trans identified man, I called them he or him or his, whatever the sentence required. They got wind of it. I had a message the following morning when I got up. Can we talk for just a short 5-10 minutes? I said, okay. And I figured it was either that I had commented about it, or maybe they watched one of my videos. Figured that was the reason. The least, the thing I had confidence in lowest was scheduling something. Could have been that, but I figured it was probably they were upset about something. So I got on and they were upset, visibly upset. Said I misgendered them. And I said, no. I correctly identified you by your sex. My pronouns, as in the words I use to talk about people and animals, maybe inanimate objects, although that wouldn't qualify, but we still do it, is to refer to people by their sex. And it wasn't intended to harm. That's just my right to do. And that the policing of language by trans persons, not all trans persons, maybe. This person does identify as a trans activist. So we'll say trans activists and their allies. To police our language and tell us how to use our words is so much doublespeak. And in fact, saying a trans woman is a woman is a perfect example of doublespeak. And that could have been in 1984 by George Orwell. And they don't see that, though. They don't see that that is very insulting. Well, this person, who for now will be unidentified, said that, it was insulting. I told them it's insulting to tell people how to use their words. They said it was very upsetting. And I said, well, they're just words. And they said, well, you just said that it's important for you to, well, yeah, it is important to me. But if someone insults me, it's just words. I don't care what their intent was. For me, intent doesn't matter. Oh, I intended to insult you. Okay. And, if my wife calls me an idiot, she's just, sometimes she's serious and sometimes she's joking around. Either way, okay. But if some stranger that you don't know says something that you take as offensive, why? Why? If somebody got on this stream and said, you're bald and old and fat and ugly, okay. Okay. And their intent would be to insult. My intent wasn't. And that's what's most important, is intent. I recently said something. What was I talking about? I made a post. And I don't remember the context of the post, but one of the sentences I said was that I think blacks are unalived by police more than is acceptable. I did not expect someone I've known a long time, I didn't know him well, but I've known him a long time, would get on and say that I shouldn't say that because it's microaggressive and offensive to black people. I need to call them African Americans. Okay. Well, my first girlfriend when I was 4 or 5 was a black person. When I moved to a new neighborhood when I was 7, my first friend was black. I had no issue hanging out with black persons, going to their houses, staying the night. And although in my older years, I don't, I don't hang out a lot. I'm a homebody, and I don't go out socially. So I would say all my close friends are white, and that's not by choice. It's just what happened. I have some white neighbors on one side and black neighbors on one side, and I am fine, get along fine talking with the black neighbors. I don't talk to them often because I'm a homebody and I'm an introvert. But that's not because of the color of their skins. It's just the white people are jerks and the black people are nice. It could have been the other way around. But I do, for my workplace, have some black friends that I talk to occasionally. Don't hang out with them. Mostly because we don't have a lot in common. And I do have a friend that I've known since 7th grade. And so these are all older black people, over 50. So, any discrimination, they've probably faced it. So I messaged them and I quoted my exact words, copied and paste. One said, well, somebody's always going to be offended. Now this person that was offended was a white person. And so the one said, someone's always going to be offended. And I sent him the text. And he said, no, there's nothing wrong with what you said. Okay. And one said, no, that's fine. And the third said, yeah, you're just stating facts. And I told them why I was asking, and they said, oh, tell her to F off. So here I have three actual older white people, and this white person, I mean, black people, and this white person is also my age. So, I let them know. I said, hey, I've got three black friends, and they're older, and they said there was nothing wrong with what I said. Perfectly fine. Immediately unfriended. Person just, nope, unfriended. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but there it is. Just wanted to put it out into the ether. So one major thing that seems to be getting a lot of notice is trans athletes. You have A.B. Hernandez. Oh, let's do that one. Okay, it's already sharing my screen? Can't be. Okay, present. Share screen. Entire screen. So you have A.B. Hernandez. No. So this is a trans-identified boy, it's a teen, that keeps winning track and field events against women. Says, I've worked hard. Well, you've worked hard to compete against women. Okay. Now there was video. I don't know if I've saved it, of the mother of one of the female competitors challenging the mother of this person. And although I do understand wanting to defend your child, there comes a point when you need to give some tough love. And, you can say, you can recognize your child, even though they're female, or even though they're male, as a female. Call them she, he, call them she, her. Allow them to dress however they want. But when you're going to affect the welfare of actual females, not only just females, but teenage girls, and their parents are watching this, that's when you need to step in with tough love. You need to tell your child, sit them down, and say, you need to recognize that you have certain physical advantage because of your sex. And we can't get rid of that. Honey, I can be kind to you. I can defend you when people call you he. I can defend you when people make fun of the fact that you might wear dress and makeup. But I can't go out and defend you when you are sexually male and defeating sexual females, people that are sexually female. But this mother doesn't see that. They are over supportive. And, many people complain these days that parents are too lax. They let their kids get away with too much. This is an example. This is a good example of letting your kid get away with too much. A.B. Hernandez's mother should have said, no, if you want to compete, you have to compete with the men. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. Or not with the men, with the boys. And if the school wouldn't, well, the school should allow it. But if for some reason the school said no, I would have insisted. I said, oh, you're letting my child compete with the men. I don't care what they look like. You're letting them compete with the men because they want to compete. So they say, that he excelled in track because of the time and energy he dedicated. They see how hard I train. I constantly watch myself on film. Sure. Work your ass off and compete with the men. And now they've started, because they have a new procedure, new rule, I think, that whatever a trans identified man, boy, wins, whoever's below them would get the same award. So if A.B. Hernandez came in first, whoever technically came in second would get first. And then they came in third would get second. And fourth would get third. So they've done that. So really what they're doing is giving A.P. Hernandez a participation award. I want to see if, just in case, I might have had somebody in chat. So is that really what A.B. Hernandez wants? Or does A.B. Hernandez, I don't know what A.B. Hernandez has done. I hope that his parents haven't allowed him to take any sort of puberty blockers or estrogen as of yet. So, could have competed as a man, as a boy. And if you wanted to pursue a career, keep competing with the men. Or if you graduate college and if you don't want to compete in college, or you want to compete in college but just for fun and there's no career to it, then transition medically if you wish. But this is ticking people off. It really is. They're pushing this so hard, it's ticking people off. And I think more and more, even liberals are starting to go, yeah, this ain't right. Because these trans-identified boys and men keep defeating women athletes. And those women athletes have trained their asses off as well. But when you have a man that's trained his ass off and a woman that's trained his ass off, more than likely, the man's going to win. Odds are. If you took the top 100 men and the top 100 women, some of the women might beat some of the men, but they wouldn't beat the number one. It won't happen. So here's interesting. The mother, Nereida Hernandez, she previously supported Trump. So she was raised Catholic. I told AB from day one, you're my baby, so I'm going to support you. Again, support doesn't mean you let them do whatever they want. There's tough love. It's the best thing I could have done because I cannot imagine what this child would have been through if I was closed-minded and unsupportive. What if you were tougher on them? Being open-minded, being supportive does not mean you're not tough on your kids. States that God gave us these children. What would God want us to do? Protect, support, and love our kids. That's what I'm doing. I'm sure there are plenty of things that according to Catholicism, that Catholicism wouldn't say, well, just let them get away with it. Go ahead, just do that. Even though it goes against what Catholicism would say God wants. And that's the problem with being in an organized religion, is that if you don't accept, how did you make the determination of what God wants if you're going to deny the rules of the faith, of Christianity? I don't know if there are any more recent links. I think there are. Got this cat in my way. Ooh, forgot about the UFC. Maybe I can start watching those fights soon. Let's see what's down here. No, I'm in the wrong one. Let's see. Uncard block. What is this? Twitter.com. See, I refuse to call Twitter X. I don't care if Elon gets offended. So in Ireland, a group of 20 to 30-year-old lesbians, gays, and bisexuals have sold at the first conference. So what over in UK, there are some gay people that do not support trans activism. They said they're bringing lesbians, gays, bisexuals, allies, detransitioners, trans widows, women's rights defenders, senators, psychotherapists, free speech advocates, and surrogacy abolitionists together. So they are excluding trans people. And I don't think they're excluding trans persons because they don't like them. I think they're excluding the trans people that are mostly men that are insisting language policing, and men, biological men. It's so funny I have to say that. And I don't say that for me. I say that because some people have distorted the language so much, I have to be exact. Really, the only man is a biological man. It's already in the definition. But I say that just to avoid confusion. So a biological man being allowed to go into women's spaces when some women don't want them there. And you don't know what women do and don't. You can't always know that in public. Now, if you go to some private function and you know all the women there are okay with it, fine, I don't care. But in public, there's going to be a lot of women, and depending on where you live, there's going to be more or less. There's going to be a lot of women that do not want men in their spaces. Doesn't care what they look like, don't care what they identify as, don't care what their pronouns are. Don't want them. And they certainly should not be in sports competing with females. I was wanting to see if there was any So it's less than 2 weeks away. May 18th. So it may be going on right now, already happened. So what is this? Not all gays. So what a lot of gay people are saying is that trans activists are affecting them. They are denying what being a homosexual is, which is to be a same-sex attracted. Because you have trans persons, and you can find these videos where trans persons are saying, say it's a trans identified man. So it's a person that thinks they're a woman, and they wonder why straight guys aren't attracted to them, or they wonder why lesbians aren't attracted to them. And they call, and then so trans identified women, that would be women that think they are men. I really haven't seen a video from one of them, I don't think, but it could be the case that trans identified women are wondering why gay men don't like them. And they call it transing the gay away. They really do. Because, see, the trans people try to say that sex and gender are different. Okay, well, homosexuality is about sex. It's about what sex you are. So then if you're insisting, if you're a trans-identified man and you're insisting that a straight man should sleep with you and be attracted to you because you call yourself a woman, then you're being a hypocrite, because aren't gender and sex different? And I'm not attracted to genders. As a straight man, I'm attracted to women, biological women, which again, what's the opposite of an oxymoron? Maybe over describe something that's not necessary. Using words more than necessary. Like blue, the bluest of blues. Bluer blue. But yeah, I mean, this is why there are organizations, and they're I know over in Britain, there's the LGB Alliance. They don't allow trans people. Same-sex attracted people. Freedom of opinion. We do not believe same-sex attraction is a preference or choice. We define sex on the grounds of the Equal Status Act, which prohibits discrimination based on gender, male and female, including sexual orientation. I was hoping they would say more about trans people. Yeah, some of them have problems with children transitioning, at least medically. So, the gay people that are gay are reacting to that. They advocate for the unique rights of lesbian, gay, and bisexual individuals in all aspects of life. Oh my gosh, you dumb cat. Get in. She's old and senile. Including education, employment, healthcare, housing, and marriage. We strive to protect same-sex attracted individuals' right to freedom of opinion. Blah, blah, blah. I already read that. Child safeguarding. Oh, they do. We prioritize the safety and well-being of children with focus on discussions of LGBT issues. So we are dedicated to creating educational resources to promote a safe environment for children, free of any form of abuse, discrimination, or exploitation. As LGBT people, we understand the importance of using clear, fact-based language with regard to sexuality and identity issues. So they mentioned the T once, but then they exclude it. Wonder if they've made some other posts. Let's see. My daughter is 19 and all her friends are TERFs, so not all gays reposted this. Comment on my chat with not all gays. So heartwarming to see young people standing up to this insidious cult. My daughter and her friends are no longer afraid to speak up. So yes, they are obviously against trans activism. So this was 18 hours. So yeah, they already had a conference. Julie Bindel, she's well known in the gender critical movement. So is Kathleen Stocks here on the bottom there. So yeah, these are. I mean, there is a lesbian that has stated that she was told that she had to suck a pee-pee just because the man identified as a woman. Like you're being a transphobe unless you are willing to do this. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Gender woo. Convo with Not All Gays Real and More Sinister Things goes live on YouTube at so hey, why don't we just watch this? Well, I'll have to watch that sometime. Let's see. Let's see it. Yeah. So, assuming that's true, and they seem like nice people, I hope they wouldn't lie. So, these people are so afraid of being challenged that they will sabotage things. And I've seen video of this happening. So it's has warrant for believing this, that they're telling the truth, that their mics got taken down and she's been assaulted. She said a drag queen. Drag queens are not necessarily trans. There are plenty of drag queens that are just gay. So I don't know. Maybe they were just trans, but they were very exaggerated in their appearance. Fighting gender ideology. That is a very cute woman. Someone tried to sabotage their big day. Let's see. It's a 1. Where's 2? Join me in the chat. Well, I wished I'd have known. Sex matters. And again, I wish I'd known. I actually saw the video, but I assumed it was pre-recorded. But it turned out it was a video for a upcoming live, or maybe, maybe it wasn't live. Maybe it was a video premiere. But it had Helen Joyce and I forget her name because she's not usually seen as much as Helen. But anyway, they had a conversation. So hopefully Sex Matters will keep making more videos on YouTube. That was what they said at the beginning. This is going to be a new thing, and I really hope to do it live. And I just love Helen Joyce. I would love to have her. She's liked one of my comments, but I would love to even just ask her a question or something, or just. Not all gays, not all gays. Opening speech. That's kind of long. So yeah, I mean, you have a minority group here telling another minority group, you've gone too far. You don't represent us. And like the LGB Alliance, they're taking the T away, saying you don't represent us. They took away the Q and the plus and the T, and they just LGB. It's all about sex. This is sex. We started as a sex-based movement saying we're not wrong for our sexual attractions. and now and we just wanted to be a part of society. The only change we wanted was just acknowledge us. Gay people did not want to go into spaces they weren't supposed to, and otherwise. So what else do I have? See what I've added lately. Starting to get uncontrollable white matter microstructure cast review. Pew Research: Americans grow more supportive of restrictions for trans people in recent years. A new Pew Research Center survey finds the majorities of U.S. adults favor or strongly favor laws and policies that require trans athletes to compete on teams that match their sex assigned at birth. It's not assigned, it's observed. Ban healthcare professionals from providing care-related gender transitions for minors. So yeah, the tide's changing. So yes, of course, protect trans people from discrimination in jobs, housing, and public spaces. That's fine. I don't have any issue with that. I support eliminating medical, puberty blockers, hormones, and all that for kids because there's no science to protect it as far as I've seen. I've tried, I've searched around, and I can't find any science. And it could be fine. It could be fine. But we don't need to make kids experiments. Require trans people to use public bathrooms that match the sex they were assigned at birth. 50%, only 26 opposed. Don't teach gender identity. Yeah, that would be up to the parents. Require health insurance companies to cover medical care for gender transition. So this one kind of confuses me. I mean, so there are people like Buck Angel that say, I have a mental disorder. And the gender dysphoria is in the DSM, but I don't think it's really regarded as it's not regarded like anorexia or something like that. It's just more of a observation of a discomfort that some people have. So here's the thing. If trans people want to normalize this, then yeah, why should health insurance companies cover it? Unless you have an actual mental condition, why should if I were an insurance company, why do I have to cover this? Why? This is just cosmetic. So they can't have it both ways. They can't say we want medical coverage and then also say, well, we don't have a mental health disorder. And of course, Republicans and Democrats are, widely divided on this. But as you can see, Democrats have risen. They've risen on this. Tide's changing. Trans activists push too far. Oh, wow. Protection's gone down, even for Democratic people. Wow. So requiring, that's gone down. Wow. I'm surprised. See, I don't agree. I don't think anybody should be discriminated for something like this, unless it's necessary to the job. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some jobs. I mean, if you went to a good old boys bar, they're not going to want a trans-identified man serving them drinks. And you're going to lose business. And, not that it's, it's still wrong, but should really require that owner to do something that's going to get rid of his client base. It's kind of a touchy issue, but I would say that it should be protected. I mean, nobody should be discriminated against for something like that. Just like I shouldn't be discriminated against for being against a lot of trans issues. Same thing. Where's I hate this mouse doesn't have ooh, did I watch this? I got to do the oh yeah, I did. Okay. I got to do the share a particular tab instead of just the screen, or else so yeah, this guy's on the street, and he's professing his religious beliefs, which is his constitutional right. And he's not saying kill these people. He's not saying put these people in concentration camps. He's just expressing his religious beliefs. At least he's not in this video. I don't know what he said before or after. And this trans identified man comes up and pulls a gun. And I would really like to see the trans activists. I could see Buck Angel and maybe Blair White, a couple of others, pointing out this was wrong. But I would like to see the trans activists that normally would be against people like Buck Angel and Blair White and me comment on this was wrong. We don't need this. And if it's out there, let me know. But I have not seen it yet. I've only seen people either that are not trans talk about it, or Buck Angel, Blair White type people. Well, the offensive training, call out to them. They do get some good videos too. They might have covered this. I don't know.
You need to try less being like somebody you're not and start to humble yourself and be somebody that God made you to be. He didn't make a man to be a woman. He made the man to be a man. He didn't make the woman to be a man. He made the woman to be a woman. And this is the truth.
So he sees the person coming.
What are you going to do? Come attack me now?
Now look at this. Watch. Look at that. Wow.
Hey, man. That's up to you. If you want to pull that on me, well, God bless you. So you just threatened me with a gun. You just pulled a gun on my face. Man, Lord have mercy on you.
Wow. I mean, that was... I'm watching myself. It's funny. Yeah. Trans person got a gun. Pulled it on somebody that should not, even if you don't like what they're saying, they have a right to say it. And that's not something you pull a gun on somebody. Like I said, the person, at least in that part of the video, was not making any threats. But this trans person did that anyway. And you could tell that person's a man. You could tell that's a man. Blair White does a great job. But that person, no, you're a man. And you just acted like a man. You really did. Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. And that trans-identified man that thinks he's a woman acted like a man. And most men wouldn't do that, but I would say odds are if someone did that, it's a man. And here's the thing. They pointed the gun at this guy's head. And one of the rules of safety with any gun is you never point at anybody. Even if you are 100% confident that gun is empty, you don't point it at somebody. That's just a rule. You don't. But this person intentionally did that. I mean, it could have been that the gun was empty. It could be that the person doesn't keep their gun loaded. But you still don't point it at somebody. Wow, there's so much of these. People often say that trans people are not a threat. And I say trans people are just like everybody else. Most of them are good. Small amount are bad. 2 trans-identified males convicted for gang rape of young girl, claim transgender status and erectile dysfunction in defense. 3 Norwegian women, 2 who claim to be transgender, have been convicted related to the ongoing, bad stuff that usually some men do to females while she was between the ages of 12 and 14. So these people, 43, 35, were charged with bad stuff with a child under the age 14. An instance of bad stuff in which the act was committed by several, oh my gosh. Both men claim to be trans women. Came to the attention on June 3rd after Acri, that would be the straight guy. I don't want to take him, put him in my category, but I have to. Was seen kissing the victim on the mouth and grabbing her privates while on public transport. Given the victim alcohol. Wow. So this just demonstrates not that all trans people are bad, just you have bad apples. And you can't, there are people that say trans people are not a threat. Well, no, you can't say that because they're just like anybody else. This can happen. Since it's 5 years and 9 months in prison, the one that admitted to having done bad stuff to the girl several times. 5 years and 9 months. Wow. That is very lenient. No, it's much better if I can't get hard, so it's not really that bad. Wow. Yeah, if that were my daughter, wow, why are those ads and they're not being blocked? And yeah, here's the thing. There are some courts you go in and they won't allow you to refer to these men as men. You have to call them by their pronouns. Why? Why do we have to go by their pronouns when they do something this egregious? Why is any court saying a victim has to go in there and be respectful? Transgender woman, which is a trans-identified man. Why is this crap up here? 3, 2, 1. There's a little ad I'm not seeing. I still can't get rid of. Oh, there we go. So, trans-identified man who followed teen around hospital will serve her sentence in men's prison. Good. 28, harassed. See, why do these articles need to be respectful of these people? Harassed her? No, harassed his victim. Child plex offender followed a 16-year-old girl around a hospital and showed her messages read, "Do you want to do bad stuff? And I love you. I want to do bad stuff to you." The defendant was in breach of an order which was preventing him from having unsupervised contact with children. Leah, 28, pestered and harassed his victim at the Grange University Hospital in Quebec. I mean, even if you're a trans activist, are you for saying, oh, this person that did bad stuff to a child, or those other 3, well, there were 3, but only 2 were trans. Even if you're a trans activist, are you for this? Do you say, oh yeah, I respect their pronouns? Or do you say, well, yeah, in these cases, screw them. When they abuse children, screw them. Call them him. I'd like to know. Pestered and harassed his victim the early hours of October 2nd last year. Defendant had already been discharged from hospital with a panic attack, but remained on the grounds to pursue his victim. Talk about getting a panic attack. I'm sure that child had one. Incite a child to do bad stuff. Previous convictions for doing such. Wow. Again, if this were my child, you better not get on bail. I mean, look at all these I have. And you can go to peaktrans.org, and there are a lot more. And, again, it's just that people are people and trans people are people. And this stuff is going to happen. Being trans, being gay, being white, black, Asian, whatever, does not prevent a person necessarily just by those classifications of doing harm. Oh, I don't have any new sports things. I thought I did. Did I cover this one? I need to start deleting these ones I covered. I may have covered this, but here's AB Hernandez again. I think this young lady, is that what this article's about? I think this young lady right here with the red ribbon stepped down. Or no. All the other athletes got off the platform, and number 2 stepped up on the number 1 box. There's another one I wished I had. I guess I didn't save it. Am I still sharing? I don't know what I'm doing here. No, I'm not still sharing. Okay, because I closed the tab. Darn it. Anyway, I read all that stuff to you. There it is. What is going on here? You are not free thinkers. A voice spoke inside your minds loudly. The voice you believe is God said, don't tell the vision. Why are you splitting all this up? March 31st, 2020 is when the voice told you don't tell the vision. Vision's my favorite character in Marvel. You believe it was a secret that none know. Wrong. That voice was Satan. Sorry, Wesley, I didn't know you were in the chat, but I have no idea to what you're responding. That voice was Satan. What are you talking about, Wesley? Are you still here? What time is it? Oh, that was a while back. Sorry, I didn't know. Jesus, quit holding up your... Why did you split it up so much? Huh. Wesley, you still here? I mean, I love to talk about religion too. But that was 20 minutes ago, so I don't know if you're still here. Still wasn't responding. I'm still not that experienced with this stuff, and I was distracted by doing stuff. So yeah, can I find that? Did I close it, or is it still here? Oh, there it is. Okay. So Wesley, if you're still here, let me know. I probably won't stay on too much longer though. Let's see. 2 girl athletes refuse to stand on winner area. Alrighty, let's see. Present or invite, share screen. All right, so here we are. Jesus, quit holding him up, your unbaptized soul. Huh, Okay. So, two trans girls, two Oregon high school track and field athletes, Alexa Anderson and Reese Eckerd, reportedly refused to stand on the medal podium next to a transgender athlete during a state championship in high jump competition. The transgender athlete, Leah Rose, had competed, another Leah, had competed in the boys division in the previous years. Anderson placed third and Eckerd placed fourth, while Rose tied for fifth. So this is a male athlete that isn't even that good in the female category. Are there videos? Yes.
Turn your pastime into your full time.
In today's day and age, this is a stunning act of bravery and, yes, defiance. Two high school track stars refused to stand on the medal podium after placing in the Oregon State Championship for the high jump. Why? Because the athlete standing next to them was a biological male.
Also in fifth place for Miami Wells, Leah Rose. Fourth place honors to Sherwood's Reese Eckerd. In third place from Tiger, Alexa Anderson.
Alexa Anderson.
You know, good for them. Good for them. Because there can be no female areas if men are allowed into them. And the way we determine male and female is biology. And anyone that supports this nonsense is not recognizing biological facts. And we as atheists that constantly challenge theists with science, and if you're among the online cult atheists that deny science, or even say, well, science is on our side. No, it's not. Male and female has always been male and female. It's been that way. It's the whole procedure to us reproducing. You can't reproduce without male and female, at least with mammals and some other animals.
And then Reese Eckerd placed third and fourth, respectively, but tied for fifth was a trans athlete, Leah Rose. The two teens refused to take their places on the podium and turned their backs to it, quietly protesting a system that forced them and their teammates to surrender spots to a trans. Here to tell her story is Alexa Anderson, along with Jessica Steinman, Executive General Counsel at America First Policy Institute. Alexa, look, you finished ahead of the trans athlete in this case, but there's time and again instances where trans athletes have taken awards and 1, 2, and 3 spots from female athletes. Did you take a stand for them as well?
This was my first time competing against a transgender individual, so this is the first public stand that I have taken in this issue, but I have privately supported all other girls that have done the same with positive messages, commenting on posts, and just supporting them and letting them know I'm behind them in any way.
Alexa, what do you have to say to people watching across the country about the unfairness of this? Why is it unfair?
It's unfair because biological males and biological females compete at such different levels that allowing a biological male into our competition is taking up space and opportunity from all these hardworking women. The girl in 9th who should have been in 8th and had that podium spot had that taken away from her, as well as many others.
In all of those slots, Jessica, whether you're 8th or 5th or 4th, that all works toward, your points and your national standing. And so all of those places matter. People say, oh, she didn't finish first, second, or third, so it doesn't matter. But it does matter. And I think Alexa made that point.
No, it's so important, Laura. And I want to say thank you to Alexa for really standing up for all the courageous girls out there and doing the right thing. And Laura, thank you for bringing attention to this national issue. I think one thing that we've talked about is access to the podium, access to those scholarships. And in this situation, not even just that access, but the First Amendment issue that came about when they were asked to and kind of sidelined from the competition here.
So tell us about that, Alexa. Being in any way ostracized or treated differently, because you have a common sense view on this. A lot of young women are afraid to speak out or even do a silent protest.
Yeah,
Why? Well, they're going to be told to shut up, and this is not up for debate. And in some cases, there could be bad stuff that could be done to them. And I have examples of that as well. I've seen a 60-year-old woman be attacked by a person in their 20s, maybe 30s, that didn't like what they had to say about trans people. And this was a trans person, which means it was a man attacking a 60-year-old woman. So that's why some people don't speak up.
stepped off the podium in protest, and as you can see in the video, an official kind of told us, hey, go over there. If you're not going to participate, get out of the photos.
So you couldn't even have your moment. That wasn't allowed. You had to stand forward, not your back to it.
Yes, they asked us to move away from the medal stand, so when they took the photos, we weren't even in it at all.
And again, if I was their father, I would be going talking to that gentleman. Wouldn't yell at him, but I would have a talk with him.
Yes, well, you don't really deserve to be there because you just worked hard and you competed, and you've done it your entire life, by the way, which is a grueling sport that takes hundreds and even thousands of hours to perfect at any level. Jessica, I know America First Legal has filed discrimination actions in these cases. Briefly explain this to us. I think you filed a Title IX case.
Yes. So America First Policy Institute, we filed a complaint with the Department of Education asking them to look into the Oregon Department of Education. Here we're asking, so a Title IX, you're right, Laura, a Title IX violation, so the men and the women's sports. But on top of this, because of this weekend's race, that the women were excused, they were sidelined, they were told to get out of there. We also would like them to look at a First Amendment issue. And Laura, this is, you know exactly this. This is why the First Amendment was created. When a citizen has an issue with their government, especially about their own rights, they should be able to speak out. And these girls were not allowed to speak out.
Well, was there a rule that they had to face a certain way? I bet not. They'll probably write one if there isn't one. But I don't believe there's a rule in this case that you have to stand at a certain angle to be a legitimate athlete worthy of a photo on the podium that you earned your right to be on. Alexa and Jessica, we're following this case very closely. Continue to be a great athlete and a great role model.
Yeah, that would be my question. What's the rule? Is that a rule? Oh, look at my chat. Let's see. So I had this guy named Wesley Curry come in. First, we have a dot. Okay. Then we have, you are not really free thinkers. Okay. A voice spoke inside all your minds loudly. The voice you believe is God said, don't tell the vision. March 31st, 2020 is when the voice told you, don't tell the vision. You believe it was secret that none know. Wrong. That voice was Satan. It was not God. The reason you could not move in those moments when Satan spoke inside your brain, Jesus, quit holding your unbaptized soul. Period. Dot. Full stop. Oh my gosh, that could have been a fun conversation. I'm sorry I missed it. I just got so involved in tabs and stuff and really didn't expect anybody to be watching live. If you have been watching live, thank you. But you didn't comment, so I didn't know. I guess that's about it. Been about an hour, almost an hour and a half. Just wanted to chat about some things. I really want to work on a video that call it the syllogism that destroys Christianity. I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about. You know, I've been challenging religion for 30 something years. And, you know, it's really hard to find things that people haven't talked about. And, you know, it's not that some of the stuff shouldn't be gone over and over again, but, you know, to me, the trans stuff is new. So it's kind of exciting and stimulating. Whereas the religion stuff, I've thought about it so long, you know, it's a lot harder for it to be fresh. Meow, yeah, kitty. Oh, kitty, my tortie. My tortie. She's about 17 years old. She likes to cuddle and snuggle. She likes to be fed even more, but she likes to cuddle and snuggle. Especially the older she gets, she likes to snuggle. So anyway, if you watch this later, if you're watching this now, thank you. If you watch this later, thank you. Please like and subscribe. And, you know, even mention in the comments what topics you might want me to cover, whether trans or religious. Other than that, have a good day or night. Take care. Oh, she also has no control over claws. She never has. It's like most cats won't put their claws out. She puts her claws out for just about anything. It's not to be mean. She's just, I don't know. So take care. Thank you.